Hello, Ashley here. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm just really updating you on the madness that is the coronavirus. Well, not actually the coronavirus, but everything that goes on around the situation. I'm not really discussing the coronavirus. I'm trying to put out there my thoughts about what I think's going on and why. Obviously, I want to discuss things such as how the British public are behaving and reacting to the situation, as well as the underlying sinister things that I personally believe are quite sinister that we need to be looking at in a little bit more detail that the government have announced. Right, so I'll start off with talking about the flu, because I've just been online and I've tried to find out about how many people actually died of the flu during the winter of 2018, 2019. I've got a PDF, the actual government PDF, and it doesn't actually tell you how many people died at all. What it does is it talks about like 10.3 in 100,000 people that actually show up at the doctors, presenting with flu-like symptoms. And then it says like 10.3 of them out of every 100,000 people are, I think they're the ones that are hospitalised in ICU. But it doesn't actually really tell you how many people died of it, of influenza complications. The one thing I did find was from 2008, 2009. 2008, 2009. Actual figures, and 20,000 people died. 20,000 people died in 2008, 2009. So we can kind of think around about the same amount of people. You know, I mean, I know it's been like 12 years since then, but if there was 20,000 people dying of the ordinary flu in 2008, 2009 winter, then it must be kind of similar now. I mean, it seemed to be saying, they did talk a little bit about, in this PDF, about pushing for more people to take up the vaccine. I mean, I'm actually not very well, and I'm supposed to have a flu vaccine. I won't take it, I won't have it, and I think you're a bit bloody stupid if you do. However, this is my main point here. So far, in Britain, 144 people have died of this coronavirus thing, whatever that is, if there actually is one. And I'll be honest, I don't actually think there is. They can say you've got it, but how do we know for sure? We don't. And from what I can see, if 20,000 people are dying of the flu, the actual flu, pretty much that amount every year, maybe more, maybe less, but around about 20,000 people die of the flu every year. Why are they all getting upset about 144? The vast majority of people who have got this thing, or allegedly got this thing, hardly have any symptoms at all, don't really feel very ill, and come out of it on the other side perfectly all right. There's a tiny, tiny amount of people that are supposedly dying of this. Now, first, I mean, like I said, I don't actually believe that the coronavirus is real. Because, I mean, there was a coronavirus type situation that happened in 2018, but nothing was made of that. And oddly enough, it came from Eastern China. So, you know, you've got to question these things. It all sounds pretty frigging dodgy to me. And as so many thousands of people die every year through influenza, your ordinary flu, why the fuck are they making such a massive deal about this and shutting everything down? You know, why is that happening? That's what I don't understand. I really cannot get my head around this. How anybody thinks that, you know, this new virus, when 80,000 people have supposedly been, you know, so many thousands of people supposedly have caught this coronavirus. Hardly anybody's actually dying of it, when people die of the flu every fucking year. My mum died of the flu after having a vaccine. You know, so I don't trust vaccines, and I don't trust the fucking government. One jot. Not one jot. They're making far too much of this. They're making it... I mean, first of all, the information that we're getting out is contradictory. 1 minute, Johnson's giving it large about how, like, pretty much, we're doomed, we're all doomed. Next minute, he's giving it 3 months, we'll all be fine. In the meantime, we're having things like during in part of the legislation that's just been put through through Parliament, new laws. I mean, not only do the police have the right to arrest anybody that they suspect of having the virus and being out and about, but they now have given special powers to, how did they put it, intelligence and police to arrest without warrant, but they didn't specify. That was written as a separate piece to the police being given these powers. This is intelligence being able to arrest and to investigate without warrant anymore. So that is fucking sinister, if you ask me. That is sinister, because what intelligence? What intelligence? That also, that doesn't sound like your ordinary. The police think that it's bad enough that if the police suspect that you might have it, that they can actually arrest you, whether you have or not. That's bad enough. But the fact that they've given powers for intelligence, and that's how they put it, for intelligence, to work without warrant. What are they investigating? What intelligence are they gathering? And why? Because none of these things are actually made clear within the new laws. It's not actually made clear at all. So what the fuck's that about? Also, yes, there are soldiers on our streets now, in a number of different cities and towns, and apparently they're in case deliveries need making and things like that. In case they need to keep things going. But why are they in towns? Surely they'd be in depots, like massive warehouses, not wandering about in the towns. It doesn't make any sense why soldiers are being deployed. Not at all, because at the moment, they made it quite clear today that London isn't going to be shut down, that they're not going to shut London down. People can come in and out of it as much as they please. And they're basically saying, please think about doing it. Please don't go to the pubs and bars. Please shut the pubs and bars. Please don't open things. They're not actually telling us to shut shit down. Now, if it was that important, they would be telling us to shut shit down. But they're not. Excuse me, they're implying it. They're suggesting it. They're telling us that it's like the right thing to do. It is, it's the right thing to do. To save lives. They're not actually telling you, look, people are going to die here, everything needs shutting down. It's not happening like that at all. We've been told there's no way. Today they said there is no way London is being shut down. At all. So, and the softly, first of all, the rhetoric is, we're all going to die, we all have to learn a new way of life. And the next bit, it's softly, just, please shut your bars, please don't go out to the pub, all that kind of shit going on. It doesn't add up. It does not add up at all. And in the meantime, we've got soldiers on the streets and we've got new legislation coming in. One of the bits of legislation is about immigration and something else. Can't remember what the other thing is, but it's giving them powers for 2 years to arrest anybody that refuses to have a coronavirus test. Now, that's going on for 2 years. So what's this 3 months we've beat it? Do you know, none of this makes any sense. It's not adding up. All the schools have been shut. Children aren't going to school anymore. However, they are going to be, because anybody who is a child of a key worker, which is your paramedics, your nurses, your doctors, your pharmacists, your people in the supermarket, your drivers, your supply drivers, all of those sort of people, if they've got children, their children can go to school. So why the fuck can't all children go to school? Do you not see how ridiculous that sounds? What the government are doing is making you believe that shit's really bad. So, but it isn't. Because all the schools don't need to be shut. If like hundreds and thousands and thousands of kids are actually going to be going to school because their parents are needed to stay at work. Think about this. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add the fuck up. None of it adds up. Question everything, people. Question everything. And on my last note, the British public. Still fucking going bananas, still being ridiculous. A man in a supermarket, I think it was Tesco, shouting at the staff because the staff wouldn't let him have, I think it was like 30 bottles of water, giving them abuse. Because you selfish arsehole. You absolutely selfish arsehole. But the worst thing are the robbers. I can't remember where it is now. It's a place I'd never actually heard of, a town I've never actually heard of. But they actually stole £500 worth of sanitizer and supplies that had been donated and sold them in the pub. They sold them in the fucking pub. That's from a food bank. Not only that, food banks are actually having to shut. Some of them are having to shut because people aren't donating, because they're busy hoarding food they don't actually need. I mean, nothing's being shut. The shops aren't being shut. We're being told the shops aren't being shut. So why the fuck are you still hoarding food and toilet paper and bread? Why? They keep telling you they're going to keep the shops open. So why are you still insisting on trying to get more than your fair share? It's that kind of shit that's causing this mither. And arseholes that are putting their own profit, their own making a bit of something off of a food bank. What the fuck is it coming to? You've got people believing everything they're told and behaving like lunatics and scared shitless of dying. People are just at home anyway because they're scared. Why? Because Boris Johnson and the media are, ooh, scaremonger, scaremonger, scaremonger. Meanwhile saying, please don't go to the pub. Please try and keep yourself secluded. It doesn't add up, people. It doesn't add up. Think about what it is that they're actually saying. Look at the laws that they're bringing in. Look at the soldiers on the street, and look what the fuck it's doing to the British public. I have a feeling that we're never actually going to live like we did last week, ever again. Ever again. I do believe that this is the beginning of the new world order. I do. So, that's it for today, people. It's shit out there. It's shit. And it's all part of a bigger agenda. I'm fairly sure of that. So, that's where we are in Britain today. Let's see what happens tomorrow.